Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adi, and today we have a team report from the Hong Kong Nationals, and I am joined by your finalist. I'm joined by Bingjie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Adi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I've always been your fan, and of course, Top Takes.
I
I'm so excited to make this team report with you.
I appreciate it. I've always been a big fan of yours.
Thank
Uh,
you.
it's yeah. So for those who don't know you, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I started to play VGC in 2019 when I was studying in Toronto, and you were actually my TA
I was.
in one of the computer
I didn't
science
know that
course.
at the time.
You remember? Yeah, CS 148,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, and I got some top cuts back then. But I went back to China during the COVID. And recently I was not so active in the VGC scene and just trying to come back uh, this month. Actually, I wasn't planning to go any tournaments this year until 1 month before Melbourne. And I just got my Worlds invite and travel award, which is very surreal to me.
Yeah, yeah. It must have been a crazy month for you going to both Melbourne and Hong Kong and doing so well at both of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you mentioned it. We both studied at U Toronto at the same time. I just remember, you. No one knew who you were, and there were rumors at Toronto Regionals. There was some guy running, Sweetvale Serena, who was like doing really really well. This is back in closed team sheet, so no one knew. No one knew what ability you were. But there were rumors about it all tournament, and then next thing you know, you're in top cut with that team, and that's the first time I think I think that was your first tournament, right?
Yeah, that's my first VGC team actually.
Yeah.
The
And you
Palkia Sweetvale 301. Yeah.
That was so cool. And then ever since that, we had so many battles at Toronto locals, and you'd always run the most creative things, and you'd cut so many different regionals with all sorts of crazy stuff. And so it's so cool to see you back and back on your BS with this team, which at first glance maybe doesn't look that crazy, but when you start looking at it, you've got some really really interesting picks on the team. So I want to hear all about it. Tell me about what your team building process was and how you got to this team.
I may start with my Melbourne team. So,
Mhm.
okay, yeah. So, I haven't played this game for a while. So going into this tournament, I want to make sure at least I can beat Shi Liang's team. So it's Andrew Ding's team and Shi Liang's team. Uh, and I also want to play Miraidon and Colorx Ice because I had a team which is pretty similar to this one back in Sword and Shield. So yeah. So in theory, you Dynamax Regieleki and knock out some of your opponent's leading monsters and sweep with this very bulky Calyrex Ice Rider. Uh, it's kind of like offense to defense team. You blow up your opponents and try to sweep with very bulky things. I think this idea can also work in Regulation I because we have such strong attacker like Miraidon. And I started to think about Leech Seed Calyrex right after the Regulation I released. Because I just feel like uh, Iron Defense Body Press not work in this format because Zamazenta is so bulky. You can't even two-shot it with +2 body press. But Leech Seed is a good option to slowly kill it because it cannot, it doesn't have any recovery moves. So I think I'm probably the earliest player to think about Leech Seed. So I always start with an idea when I build teams. For this one is Leech Seed, Colorx Ice plus this back Miraidon.
Mhm.
And try to adapt this idea to the current meta game. So for the team to beat is Shi Liang's Milwaukee team. which featured Ursaluna and Electricity Lunala. If you watch the stream in the finals, that team is so bulky. You can hardly knock out any of their Pokemons. So I'm trying to use a different approach. So because they had Miraidon, so I kind of think if I also add Rillaboom to my team to lower its damage output, and as well as Incineroar to lower Ursaluna's damage output, I can have very good position-based games. That's why the first 4 Pokemons are in my team. So if they lead Grimmsnarl and Miraidon, I can Volt Switch, assuming I'm faster, and into Rillaboom and Glacial Lance, knock out his Grimmsnarl, and win from there. That's how I start with these 4. And another matchup I'm focusing is Combine Terrapagos. Because the 4 I currently have, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Miraidon, and Ice Rider, cannot touch Combine Terrapagos at all. So of course I need a fighting type Pokemon. I think Terra Ghost Urshifu in Shiliang's team works pretty well. That's why I used here as well. But I feel like it's still very hard for me to use my move to hit Terrapagos, because they have very good support Pokemons like Incineroar, Amoonguss, and Rillaboom. That's why I kind of want a Pokemon with Cover Cloak to help me against double Fake Out. I tried different options like Cloak Okidoki or Iron Hands, but they all not work very well for me. So I just changed my mind because I'm kind of an old VGC player. I know Among Us can handle these kind of teams very effectively. Even it does not do any damages to those setup monsters. That's why I think Cloak Among Us can maybe work in my team to just handle the Combine Terrapagos teams. And I tried some games on ladder, and without further testing, I decided to bring this version to Melbourne. And surprisingly, Among Us is also very good against Koraidon team, because Incineroar and Among Us can help each other to resist fighting or fire moves, which is very surprising to me because I never thought Among Us can help with that matchup. I started to learn that during the tournament, and I beat, I guess, except the one who knocked me out, I beat all the Koraidon team with the help of Among Us. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I haven't heard of Among Us being used in that matchup, but it sounds like you were really targeting down, Pagos and the Andrew Ding, Lunala Maridon team. Did you feel like I'm looking at your schedule now. That doesn't look like what you faced at all. Did you a little bit? But how ready were you for the Australian metagame? Because it seems like it's very different than what we saw in the rest of the world.
Yeah, actually, going into Melbourne, I only know one thing. It's like I have to be ready for the Hard Trick Room matchup. Because in the Brisbane, I think Hard Trick Room won the whole things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I make my Rillaboom so bulky to take at least one full power Glacial Lance from Ice Rider.
Oh wow, I did not
Yeah,
notice how bulky that is. Yeah,
well,
that's crazy.
yeah. So I don't have any other lines going into this tournament. I just trust my teams, and I hope I can learn during the tournament how I approach these matchups.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm kind of a player who trusts my instinct rather than like prepare lines for each matchup.
hmm Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I'm looking at your team. Do you want to walk through this team, or do you want to talk about the adjustments you made before Hong Kong?
We can maybe talk about my Melbourne version first.
Okay, yeah. So talk me through, the move sets and the EV spreads. You talked about the Rillaboom a little bit, but why are the Pokemon trained the way they are?
Okay, let's start with Ice Rider, the starting point of this team. Uh, so I saw some people run careful or English Ice Rider just to take more hits. But I still like Adamant because a lot of times I wanted to do as much damages as possible, especially in the Miraidon mirrors. We really rely on Ice Rider to deal with the opposing Miraidon and their Ursaluna. Yeah, I went with Terra Fairy because I feel like Ice Rider is always my main Terra in this matchup. And if it's Terra Water, Miraidon can hit it very hard. But Terra Fairy, actually, no Pokemons in that team can do enough damages to Ice Rider, so it can stand on the field from the beginning to the end. Yeah. And then is Miraidon. It's just a very common set. I make it timid just to outspeed other Miraidon. Yeah, that's it for the Miraidon.
I think this might
And
actually
for
be
Incineroar,
very similar to what like Lucas Arabelli ran at Worlds. I feel like I've seen this EV spread before.
I think he run Modest,
Oh,
right?
he ran
Just to
Modest.
outspeed.
What
Yeah,
speed stat
Modest.
did you
Yeah.
hit?
I just hit one speed faster than the max speed Modest Miraidon.
Oh, okay, 188. Cool.
Yeah, 188. 188 or 189? I can't remember. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, go ahead. You were
Uh,
talking about Maridon.
yeah, for the Miraidon, just very standard set. And I use Timid because I want to vote switch into Grimmsnarl first. Then I can set up a grassy terrain to help my Ice Rider to take hits from opposing Miraidon. That's why I run Timid. But it's ended to be a lot of Miraidon are still faster than me. Uh, I guess that's also fine because I can switch Rillaboom on the field anytime.
Mhm.
And for the Rillaboom EVs, I mentioned earlier, it's just for the thing you need to cover in Australia meta game, the hard trick room. I feel like there are situations I need to swap Rillaboom in to take one glacial lens and fake out their sweepers under trick room. That's my game plan, most likely. That's why I gave it enough defense to survive glacial lens from, I guess, adamant 196 Ice Rider. Yeah.
That's crazy. I've never seen
For
that
the
before. Did that end up coming up for you? Did you do that in tournament?
No, I never play any hard trick room teams. But it's also good into Ursaluna. It has very high chance to take one facade from Ursaluna.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it kind of works for me. And for the Among Us, I choose the nature to boost its special defense because I want to take one psychic from Shadow Rider. So in that matchup, I always lead Among Us and Ice Rider and put Urshifu and Miraidon in the back. So Among Us leaving one psychic is very helpful against that team. Yeah. And for Urshifu, I actually don't know what is spread for. Just to outspeed max speed Incineroar and give it as much special defense as possible, because I relied on the Shadow Rider matchup, a Shadow Rider Terrapagus matchup. Yeah. So it can leave one Terra Ghost Astral Barrage from Shadow Rider. That's all about this Urshifu.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It is interesting that you have Amoonguss and Miraidon on the same team, uh, because Amoongus's biggest pressure it comes from the ability to click Spore. But it sounds like you had game plans that kind of worked around that let you control that. And with Rillaboom, I guess you also have more control over the terrain. Um, but yeah, talk me through like how to play the team because it feels like such an unorthodox team to play.
I think in terms of Among Us and Miraidon, because I think in the previous regulation, there's a team like running Among Us, Incineroar, and Porygon 2. So I think Ice Rider can play as a similar role to Porygon 2. You play with Incineroar, Ice Rider, and Among Us first. You don't need Miraidon in the early game and to wake your opponent's mouse as much as possible and sweep with Miraidon in the back. That's one mode for this team, and this mode works very well against Koraidon team because Incineroar and Among Us has very good switching ability to Koraidon's stab moves, and both Among Us and Calyrex can heal their health back during the switching and positioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I never like bring Among Us and Miraidon at the same time. When Miraidon comes into the field, Among Us always like finish its job. So I feel it's not conflicts that much.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a
I was gonna say, well, I kind of felt this way. I think on Tub Takes, something that Alex said when we were looking at this team was that, yeah, we used to play Amoonguss and Tapu Fini on the same team, so we're used to dealing with this sort of this terrain conflict. But Amoonguss is just such a strong Pokemon that, and you have control over that positioning that, so it doesn't actually matter that much. Which it's cool to hear that philosophy is kind of stuck around.
yeah. So Miraidon is a very good end game mouse if you wake your opponents enough with Incineroar, Among Us, and Ice Rider.
Mm-hmm.
That's a theory to run these two mounts together.
Yeah. And then and you talked a little bit about your lines into Hard Trick Room, your lines into the Grimmsnarl Ursaluna team. Were there any other matchups where you felt like you had uh, specific game plans that you like to use, or was it mostly kind of figuring it out as you go?
I think like for the standard Miraidon team, I just go Miraidon, Calyrex, Incineroar, and Rillaboom. I feel very comfortable with these four. And against Koraidon team, as we mentioned earlier, I go with Incineroar, Among Us, and Calyrex in the first few turns and sweep with Miraidon in the back. So for I actually played against Combine Lunala Miraidon Rillaboom team. And for that team, that's an online game. I used both Rillaboom Among Us together because Rillaboom is good to shut down their electric terrain, and I can spore with my Among Us. It didn't happen any other situations during my tournaments play. So
Interesting.
we can talk about through my three later, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my round 7 opponents. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd love to hear about your experience at Melbourne Regionals, and then after that, we can talk about how you changed the team after that experience.
Sure.
Did you have any like
So
highlight matches that you wanted to talk about?
so for the first 2 matches, it's kind of similar.
Hmm.
Uh, I used Among Us, Incineroar, and Calyrex for both games, uh, and sweep with Miraidon. And for uh, yeah, for my round 4 opponents, uh, I think I just won my first 3 rounds pretty easily, because round 3 is like Milwaukee's team.
Hmm.
I had very comfortable game plans into that. For this one, it gives me a little bit trouble because they had Incineroar and Calyrex. So game 1, I lead Among Us, Ice Rider, and Urshifu Miranda in the back. I just try to pollen pluff every turn, and finally I got TOD win. Uh, yeah, because his team cannot deal enough damages to my team, and I had pollen pluff to every piece of my Pokemon. I
That's pretty
think
fun.
game 2 yeah, went pretty similar. Except I knocked out his Calyrex very early with Glacial Lance and Volt Switch double up. Yeah, and I win from there. Uh, I kind of want to mention game around 7. So for this one, it looked pretty hard at the beginning when I saw the team sheet. I feel like I don't have enough damage outputs to his Lunala. So my game plan is just to win on timer, I guess. So I lead Miraidon Among Us and put Rillaboom and Ice Rider in the back and try to Volt Switch into Rillaboom and spore his Nulala if he leads Miraidon. So game 1, it works pretty well until the TOD, and I won that because like I knocked out his own Rillaboom with my Ice Rider, and he can do enough damage to my Among Us and Leech Seed Ice Rider, and I win on timer. In game 2, oh sorry, I win on timer in game 2. Game 1, he won, yeah. In game 3, I just play a little bit more aggressively to find a position where I can Glacial Lance plus Wood Hammer to knock out his Nunala,
Hmm.
and win from there. It's a pretty hard one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a team that's picked up in popularity, uh, and is really scary. I have suspect that the changes you made to your team might help with this matchup though, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. But my Cloak Among Us actually helps me a lot in this matchup
Hmm.
because he can't figure it out. I can spore anything I want with the help of Rillaboom.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Uh, but yeah, I see. So at that point, you were 7-0. You were doing really well, and you run into Shohei Kimura in the last round. Uh, I got to hear about that. What were you thinking facing against Shohei?
Uh, we just shake hands because we met before in Japan, so
Oh,
we knew each other actually. So it's just a normal match for us. I don't feel any burden or something else. Just play. Yeah.
And you beat him. So tell me about that.
So in game one, he lead Green Snow and Miraidon. I lead my common mode into this team. I lead Miraidon and Ice Rider. And I found that his Miraidon is actually faster than my Miraidon. So I switch into Rillaboom and Glacial Lance. I think he just let me take too many Glacial Lances in game one, and I win from there. In game two, he changed his lead. He lead Chimpa and Zamazenta. I think his Chimpa would be also faster than my Miraidon. And I think I made a misplay because I assume my Miraidon is slower than his Chimpa, and set up Trick Room, but it ended up his Chimpa is faster than my Miraidon under Trick Room.
Ah.
And it's adamant because my Miraidon is timid.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't expect that either.
Yeah. Yeah. And I lost from there. And in game three, there's a very clutch turn I can remember is like he read me switch Rillaboom and click Icicle Crush into my Rillaboom slot, but didn't knock out. So I can fake out Trick Room and win from there. I think if he Terra Stellar that turn, I might lose. So the EV in Rillaboom actually came in clutch in game three. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy calc as well. But yeah, at that point, you were 8-0. You were guaranteed top cut at Melbourne Regionals going into day two. How did day two go for you?
My first player, my round 9 player, actually run a very scary team. He had nasty plot, Shadow Rider.
I've seen this team. This team is it's got some interesting choices as well. I've never seen Chuppleberry Instant. I've never seen the Dark Urshifu on this team. But yeah, I can definitely see it being really scary.
It feels very scary for my team because my Ice Rider cannot do enough damages to his Shadow Rider after Intimidate. And I found a problem of my team actually in this matchup because I need to Terra my own Among Us to survive double up from Psychic plus any other attack. In that case, I can't Terra my own Ice Rider into his Shadow Rider, which makes me, put me into a very awkward situation. That's why I changed my team for Hong Kong. I think this is a direct reason for me to change my team.
Okay.
Yeah, so he just lead Incineroar and Shadow Rider and try to set up a few nasty plots and sweep my team because my -1 Glacial Lance cannot two-shot his Shadow Rider. And my Among Us is just too afraid of his Psychic plus like any attacks. I Terra Among Us, and I don't have Terra for Ice Rider. So that's pretty hard for me.
Yeah. That's good to know because that's like, I don't know. I don't if you saw the results of the Bologna regionals that happened last weekend at the same time that you were playing, but there was so much Calibric Shadows and Magenta teams floating around, all the different nasty plot teams with and so this is a team to beat for sure going into moving forward, and it sounds like you teched your team out to beat it a little more.
Yeah, I didn't play very well against this type of team going to Melbourne. Yeah.
And so in top cut, you played against the eventual winner, who also had a really cool looking team with the Koraidon Weezing team. How did your matchup in top 8 go?
So in game 1, he lead Koraidon Weezing, but I have very good game plan into this. So my game plan just Draco his Koraidon and try to like do one a little bit more damages with Aquajet with Urshifu in the back. Although I missed Draco in turn 1, but I still managed to win game 1 with this game plan. But in game 2, we switched to Chiyu and Calyrex lead, and Dynamax, or not Dynamax, Terra Calyrex in the first turn, and to spam Astral Barrage and Heatwave. I can't stop that with my game 2 lead. I lead Ice Rider and Miraidon, so I just straight up lose. And in game 3, I lead Incineroar and Ice Rider for his Chiyu Shadow Rider lead. But I find that even I can set up Trick Room with Terra Fairy Ice Rider, I cannot easily sweep with my Urshifu in the back because he can like switch his Incineroar in and fake out my Urshifu. So I cannot deal with enough damages to his Shadow Rider. And in order to set up Trick Room, I always take too many damages from Ice Rider. And I can't come back from that point. So I just find Incineroar plus Shadow Rider is definitely very hard for my team in Melbourne.
Yeah. Well, and that's the perfect segue into talking about the team that you brought to Hong Kong, where you had made some slight adjustments, in fact, including dropping the Amoonguss that you talked so highly about for Annihilate. So yeah, talk to me about the changes you made to the team and why you made them.
Yeah. So going to Hong Kong, I think I want to make sure one thing is like in Calyrex Shadow Rider Zamazenta matchup, I will always Terra Ice Rider in order to win. So which means other piece of my teams cannot Terra in that matchup. That's why I need my Cover Cloak Mon to do damages to their teams. So I tried just Cloak Urshifu in that one, but Cloak Water Urshifu, but Cloak Water Urshifu feels terrible into that matchup because it cannot deal with enough damages to even Shadow Rider. Then I switch Water Urshifu to Dark Urshifu just in order to deal with Shadow Rider more comfortably. And it works pretty well, but at the same situation, I don't want Amoonguss to be in my team. I still want an option to switch into Body Press from Zamazenta. And I also want this slot to slightly help against Incineroar. And when looking at Pokedex, I find that Annihilate may work perfectly in this slot. That's why I decided to add Annihilate in. And Annihilate and Cloak Dark Urshifu actually has very good synergy. The thing you can't final game bait, you can Wicked Blow. And even they Terra Ghost, you can still Wicked Blow. So which makes very toxic for your opponent to guess what you will do.
Yeah.
And actually, Annihilate has very good synergy with Miraidon as well. Because usually when people play Annihilate, they always lead it and try to final gambit something to set up Trick Room or something. But with Miraidon, Incineroar, and Rillaboom, you can actually put Annihilate in the back and try to position your Annihilate in the position to maximize your final gambit that can work the most effectively for that situation.
Interesting. To me, when I look at it, when you say you're not leading Annihilate and you have a Covered Cloak Urshifu with no speed control, I think this team looks really, really hard to position effectively. But yeah, how did you feel about the new team? Did you I mean you got second place, right? So it must have felt pretty good.
Yeah. So for the Dark Archive, I feel like the only situation I would Terra it's in the CSR Terrapagos team.
Hmm.
So other situations I wouldn't Terra it, and I always use it to hit slower monks like Rillaboom, Incineroar, or Terrapagos. If facing faster monks, I just strictly set up Trick Room or play Annihilate based games. So I feel like I just don't need speed control or defensive Terra to make it work. It hits the Pokemons where I want it to hit.
Hmm.
So I feel that's pretty good for me.
Yeah, and then I'm sure I'm gonna get questions about this. So, walk me through the EV spreads for both the Urshifu and Annihilate. I know people were asking why are you not max HP Annihilate, especially.
Uh, I just want it to have enough attack to KO Incineroar when it at +1. For the common Incineroar spread that leaving Surgeon Strike from Water Urshifu.
Hmm.
And for the special bulk, I make it to leave Timid Moonblast from Flutterman. That's a minimum requirement for the EV investment. So I just put the rest into the speed, and it can outspeed uh, Adamant Scarf Urshifu. I think that's pretty enough for this analogy.
Okay, yeah. Um, and then how about the Urshifu? Because I know you changed the spread a little bit there too.
So similarly, I make it faster than max speed Incineroar and put as much attack as possible and make it leave two uh, Life Orb Astral Barrage from Shadow Rider. And as I said earlier, I don't need it to move before Shadow Rider. Just do 1 or 2 damages. Usually
Hmm.
is enough for me. Yeah.
Makes
So I don't
sense.
need much more speed control.
Yeah, and I'm always looking at what about the Zamazenta? But that's what the Annihilate is for. Then you pin the Zamazenta, right?
Yeah, Annihilate also hits like basically every restricted month with final gambit,
Yeah,
except for Nunala. Yeah.
that is pretty cool. I know I read that in Regulation G and thought that was really really nice. Um, and I'm looking at the rest of your team. Did you make any other changes going into the tournament?
I don't think so because given how little time I prepare after Melbourne for Hong Kong.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks like some
So
minor
I just
EV
changed
spread
now.
changes, but other than that, it looks pretty similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, so tell me about your experience at the Hong Kong Nationals, and especially I and me and a lot of the people who watch my channel. We've competed at a lot of regionals in North America or in the rest of the world, but the nationals is very different. I've never been to one of those. So what was that like? How different was it from a normal regional?
I think at least for this year, it's basically the same experience in Melbourne and Hong Kong.
Okay.
In Melbourne, we played 8 rounds, and in Hong Kong, we played 7. So it's pretty much the same. But I guess last year, Hong Kong played an single elimination BO1 form. I guess that will be much different. But that's not the case for this year. So
So this year
it's
it
just like
was it was seven
traditional
rounds best of
regional
three, right?
level. Yeah, 7 round best 3.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so and then I guess I just want to hear about the experience. Like, did you feel like it was because I feel like whenever I talk to uh, Asian players, they always are complaining about the circuit structure and the tournament setups, and they say it's just not up to par. How did you feel about the tournament experience?
I feel it's great.
Okay.
The organizers were both were all very nice. uh, and it's nothing different compared with North American regionals, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not the case for last year, but at least for this year, it's very similar to me in Hong Kong and Melbourne.
Yeah, it does sound like they've really stepped up their game and they've really improved it after a lot of complaints last year, which is awesome to hear. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk to me about your tournament run. I see you went seven. You went 5-2 in 7 rounds. And then of course got all the way to finals. We don't have your schedule, nor do we have all of the teams, just the teams that got top 16. But were there any highlight matches that you wanted to talk about?
I think I want to talk about a match up against Utrecht finalist team. If you can open that.
Yeah, I can pull that up.
The double fake out Life Orb Shadow Rider.
Was that in top cut year, or was that?
Not in top part, in my Swiss rounds.
Okay, let me find it. Yeah, go ahead. How did that matchup play out?
So I played against 2023 Hong Kong champion in that round.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's running this team I'm actually preparing for. So actually this this round ended in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So in game 1, he lead Ogrepong and Shadow Rider. I lead Miraidon Urshifu. And I Draco his Ogrepong and close combat his Terra Dark Shadow Rider. And the game ends.
Incredible.
He can't deal with my Terra Fairy Ice Rider in the back. In game 2, it's even quicker. He had the same lead. And this time I lead Dark Urshifu and Annihilate. And I sucker punch his Shadow Rider and final gambit his Ogrepong. And I get 2 knockouts. And it's over again.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
That's how this Urshifu can be toxic to the Shadow Rider players, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta start reading Kiss again.
Yeah, you should run Terra Fairy.
Damn. Okay, and you said that was against the 2023 Hong Kong national champion too. So that was that's crazy. Tell me about some of the other rounds
I
that you
think
played.
for the yeah. I think I also played maybe in my top 8 matchup against the Shadow Rider Shadow Rider team.
Okay, and I'm gonna see if I can pull it up correctly, but
It's number 5. Yeah.
number 5. Okay, cool.
So this is more. It's not. So in this one, in game 1, I lead. I think I did Miraidon Urshifu stuffs again into his Among Us and Shadow Rider, and close combat his Shadow Rider, and I won game 1. And in game 2, I played a little bit safer. I lead Miraidon Shadow Ice Rider into his Zamazenta and Shadow Rider. And I try to vote switch into Zamazenta and switch into Annihilate to take one, what's it called? Body press.
Mm-hmm.
And next turn, I just final gambit his Zamazenta, and he didn't protect and set up Trick Room, and he has nothing to stop Dark Urshifu under Trick Room. So, I mean, this is how this matchup goes. So you always choose Urshifu, Miraidon, Ice Rider, and Annihilate. Just order, maybe different. And I feel pretty comfortable about this matchup. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you teched your team out to beat that matchup, and it really worked. It sounds like you faced it a few different times.
Yeah. Oh, I actually played the number 10 Rhydon team in
Yeah.
Swiss round.
Do you know this is the same 6 Pokemon I brought to Portland Regionals?
Uh, I didn't know. I thought
Yeah.
it's his idea.
I had
It's
some
your
different
idea,
sets,
actually?
but I had these same 6 Pokemon. I think that's really strong.
Oh, I must have missed some of your contents.
But yeah, how'd your matchup with this guy go?
So he has only Shadow Rider can stop my final gambit. Oh, maybe the Terra Ghost Zamazenta. So
Mm-hmm.
I just keep my Annihilate very well to threaten his Zamazenta. So if he White Guard or Protect last turn, and I switch into Annihilate, he can protect, and that's a perfect timing to final gambit hit. Yes, I did it in game 1. And in game 2, he Terra Fairy his Rhydon near his Zamazenta. And I locked into Draco, which put me in a very awkward spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't deal enough damages to this Rhydon, and he won game 2. And in game 3, I played better. I didn't choose Dark Kerchief in game 3. Instead, I choose Rillaboom, which won me a game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So after this game, he talked to me. He beat all the Miraidon teams when he's practicing,
Mm-hmm.
but he actually lost to me. He feel a little bit mad.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I mean, in theory, Rhydon should beat all the Miraidon teams. I had a different.
Yeah.
I had Swords Dance Stone Edge on mine, and I beat all 6 Miraidon I played at Portland. So I really believe in it. But nah, it sounds like you outplayed
I
him, and it
guess
sounds like,
yeah, like
but like also,
yeah.
if you have an Annihilate, right, and at any point you can final gambit the Rhydon, and it just goes down. And it goes before your Miraidon does. That's terrifying. Like that's so much harder to position against. So that also really adds to the matchup.
Yes. I guess just Annihilate makes difference into this matchup.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, but yeah, so you talked a little bit about your top 8 match, uh, and you made it all the way to finals. Were there either top 4 or finals? Do you want to talk about either of those?
In top 4, I played that Miraidon Zamazenta team.
Okay.
So in this matchup, my game plan is leading Annihilate and Ice Rider and Rillaboom Miraidon in the back. I think I just beat him very quickly, a 2 victory for me.
Well, this
Because
looks a lot like the team that you played Shohei used, right? So you probably had some experience.
yeah, it's actually the same, except the Chimpow is not Terra Stellar.
Uh huh.
So he has nothing to stop my Annihilate to final gambit if I knocked out Grimmsnarl. I just need to find a position where my Rillaboom is near my Annihilate, then I can final gambit his Miraidon's slot, and he has no switching. And I can win pretty comfortably. Yeah. But in finals, I actually played his team building partner. This one, by the way, I beat him in the Swiss round, the final champion. But this one is a little bit harder because his Zamazenta has Behemoth's Bash instead of Heavy Slam, which can do at least 50% to my Terra Fairy Ice Rider, no matter I Terra or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to play a little bit more carefully into this one. So my gameplay into this is to get at least coaching from Annihilate. Then I can take his Behemoth Bash and Chingpao double up more comfortably with my Ice Rider. That's how it worked in Swiss rounds when we played. And when I saw this team in finals, I feel like uh, I can win for sure. But in game one, he lead Grimsnow and Volcarona, and his game plan is just thunder with my Ice Rider and get as much paralysis as possible. And he got what he want. He fully powered my Ice Rider a few times, and he quitted me one turn, and I lost game one. In game two, I didn't got para, then I win. In game three, I think I made some bad decisions. I used Final Gambit to his Miraidon, but he had Chingpao Zamazenta in the back, where I have my Rillaboom. So I just I shouldn't trade my Annihilate to his Miraidon before I get one coaching boost, which is my game plan into this one. So that bad decision just cost me the game and the title. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But regardless, getting to second place, still a really really crazy run, especially after going going 8-0 at Melbourne regionals. Like I said, it's been a crazy month of Pokemon for you, and you've been doing so well. And I'm excited because you got the travel award to the World Championships in Anaheim. So I'm really excited to see you there and see what you've cooked up for that tournament, because your teams are always so cool.
Thank you. I'm excited to see you as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, so I've got the rental code
Great.
on screen if you want to try this team out. Of course, the pastes both for the Melbourne version and for the Hong Kong version will be in the description down below if you want to try this team. Like I said, I think it's one of the coolest teams, just so innovative, and I definitely recommend that you try it out. Bingjie, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it. Did you have any final words or shoutouts that you wanted to give?
Maybe I just want to shout out to my wife who allows me to go Melbourne. Yeah. and after Melbourne, I feel like I can do well in Hong Kong. That's why I played in Hong Kong. So last year, I actually had chance to play Hong Kong. Didn't feel like I was good enough to do that. So I just skipped the Hong Kong Nationals. Yeah, but fortunately, I played this year.
Yeah. Shout outs to your wife. Is she going to be at Anaheim? Is she coming with you?
I don't think so.
No. Well, it's a business trip, right? It's you're there to win.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you again so much. It's so great to chat with you. It's been way too long. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and that's gonna do it from us. Until next time, I will see you all later.